Gary, you've been in the dressing room with your players for quite a while there. What have you said to them?
Well, we'll keep that between ourselves because that's what we're going to do. But you know, I'll just get straight to the point of we were second best today. You know, having said that, they've not created chance after chance. We've had a couple of chances. We've ended up giving a penalty away, which looked like a foul before John even brought him down, which looked like a foul. And then we've not stayed with the runner second half in the first 10 minutes, which, you know, is suicidal. So I just thought, you know, we were second best to winning balls today and getting us playing from there. We didn't win enough ball to do that. So, you know, disappointed to come anywhere and say that we were second best today.
And I'm sure you've told your players in the lead up to this game, especially in a local derby, that you've got to be right at it and you've got to want it just as much, if not more, than the opposition.
Well, you know, you're stating the obvious. We know it's a local derby. We know what it's about. Unfortunately, you know, it didn't happen for us today, and you know, and we were second best today. Going back to what I've just said, so that's a disappointing one. But you know, the players know what a local derby's about. We've all played in them.
We thought there was a foul as well in the build-up to the first goal, and then we weren't sure whether he did catch him for the penalty or if he went down rather easily. Have you got a view on the penalty decision?
No, not really. All I do know is that, you know, we've ended up 1v1 at the back for some reason, and we've ended up, you know, giving a penalty away. Theo being last man. I just don't see how that happens. You know, at a time when, you know, the keeper's made a good save off Alex Whittle. So I'm disappointed with both goals. You know, other than the goals, yeah, they were lively, and they, like I said, they won a lot of second balls, but didn't really test John with all the possession that they had.
Yeah, and in just a few seconds, nearly going 1-0 up, you're suddenly giving a penalty away in your own area. And you're right, the second goal, that must frustrate you even more because he was just left to run across the face of your box, wasn't he? And I know it got a deflection, but you've given too much space.
Yeah, look, you know, when it's 1-0, it's a local derby, like you say, and you stay tight for the first 10-15 minutes of the second half. And you know, why it's 1-0, it makes the game more difficult for them. You know, being 1-0 up, do they drop a little bit and hold on to the 1-0? But when you concede a second goal as soft as it was, and a player just runs off one of our men and gets a free shot at goal, then first of all that's unacceptable, and secondly, you know, you put yourself 2 goals behind in the first 10 minutes, and it gives them a big lift rather than, you know, when it's 1-0 that, you know, you've always got a chance, but we made it more difficult for ourselves.
It was mentioned on our programme at one point in the afternoon, there's not enough leaders, somebody told us, in this York City team. Is that the sort of thing you're talking about there? There's no one sort of like gathering all the lads up together and saying, look, you've got to get tighter to this player?
No, I'm not getting into all that. You know, if you don't think there's enough leaders, then you make those comments, and everybody can make those comments. We've got a team out there, that put a team out there. You know, I'm not going to stand here and go that we haven't got leaders. We've got a lot of experienced players out there. On the back of a defeat, a lot of things can be said that aren't true, and people want to jump on that. That will never change. So, you know, I'll carry on with my job. I'll be disappointed. I'll have a weekend that I'm not going to enjoy because I've not won a game of football, and particularly a local derby today. But that comes with the territory, and you know, that's what the game is. What you do is bounce back. You know, work on the obvious rather than what people want to think, and you move on.
Let's talk about your team selection. You're without John Parkin and Michael Rankin. Was the Parkin just because of the pitch?
Yeah, because of the pitch. You know, it sort of puts John back a little bit if he plays on these surfaces, which we knew anyway. That's the reason he didn't. And then obviously Ranks, we're still waiting for results from him. So that hasn't changed really from where we were last week.
And decided to bring Kane Felix in for John. You took him off at half-time. Clearly, you didn't think that worked.
No, I felt a little bit for Kane because, you know, we were not really getting it down, and if we're going to use Kane, you know, not if he's going to get the balls, then we've got to go down the side with him if we're going to use his pace. And there was too many high balls into him, and he's fighting for the ball. So I did feel for him a little bit, but we just felt we needed to change it, and that's what we've done. didn't really work. Having said that, we did have 2 or 3 chances second half.
Instead of playing him directly down the middle as he's tended to do in that first half, did you ever think about swapping him with the Murray Morgan Smith and putting Morgan Smith down the middle and Kane down the left or the right?
No.
Any reason why?
Because that's why I didn't want to play him that way. That's why.
You're now 11 points behind Harrogate Town and Salford, I think, won today as well. That must be disappointing to you after we're just over a quarter of the way into the season.
Well, I'm disappointed, that we're 11 points behind. I'm disappointed that we've lost today. We've got a long way to go. Football's a funny game, and we have to make sure we bounce back for the, stick in there, keep working hard, and hope we can, win enough games and the teams at the top drop a few. That's the game. We're in a situation we don't really want to be in when we're 11 points off the top, but that's where we find ourselves, and we have to live with that as we speak and do something about it.
I don't want to make excuses for you. Do you think maybe on another day though you maybe would have had a little bit more luck? The deflection doesn't go in, the shot from Sean Newton in the second half that hits the post, that goes in. It could have set up a decent 15-20 minutes.
Well, like I say, we made it difficult to ourselves by conceding a sloppy second goal, an easy second goal for them anyway. But we did have chances. So, but you've got to take them. And it's not the first time I've said that to you this season. In a dozen games we've had chances. We didn't create numerous today, but the ball fell to us. Luckily, a couple of times in the box today. And when it does, you have to take your chance, and we didn't.
How do you find the atmosphere of this local derby? The crowd have lots to say in that far side.
Which side, sorry?
The fans behind you.
Yeah.
Were they involved in the game?
Yeah, it was a very vocal game. Yeah.
You want to add anything to that? We thought we saw pieces of paper being thrown onto the pitch. Did that happen?
I don't know. It might have been a betting slip that people didn't win with. I don't know. I didn't see any paper, so if people are going to throw things, they're going to throw things. It's not my job. My job is to manage this team, and if there's stewards here, then it's their job to do something about it. It's what the game is. So we all do our jobs. My players, you, me. We're here to do a job, and at this moment in time, we're not in the league where we want to be. So I want to do my job a little bit better.
It's a tight, compact ground with a full house. Maybe something similar to what you're going to experience next week at up north at South Shields. Does that give you good experience to use for next week?
No, we've been there before. We know South Shields is going to be very similar today. So what we've got to do is basic. What I've just said is make sure we're not setting to the amount of balls we were setting to today, which allowed them to play how they've played, and we've got to make sure we're on it a little bit or a lot better than we were today.
Great, thank you.
What was Josh Law's problem, Gary? Was
it groin? Just feeling his groin, yeah.
One that might keep him out next week, or would it be
possibly? We're just going to have to wait and see whether it settles down or not.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're in a situation, you're like the big fish coming down. Is that hard? Is it where the team's trying to shoot at you every week?
It's something you have to handle. It's a different situation to maybe other seasons at times, but it's what it is. We knew coming down that was going to be the case, and teams that want to come and beat York City, of course they do. So we've got to be a little bit better with that, if that's what it is. If that's part of the reason, teams are lifting themselves, but I don't think Harrogate have lifted themselves today. They've won a local derby. I think that that they don't sit top of the league because they haven't lifted themselves, other than today. They've been playing well week in, week out. So, they've ended up beating us today, which is a local derby. So that'll feel even nicer for them.
I've not seen any of the matches in this division. How do they compare? I know they're obviously top, and how do they compare to the teams that you've played? Are they the best team you've played, or?
I wouldn't. I think that's a difficult question to answer. I just think they play away. I think we play on plastic pitches, which is a different game, and they play well on it. They do very well on it. But then they go away and they're winning games away as well. So it's what it is. They're doing well, as are a few other teams, and we've got to make sure that we do better.
Just finally on John Parkin, is it old knee operations that the problem with it?
It's just a bit of wear and tear, I think. Right. And John been in the game a long time, and You know, he does have not really knee problems, but if you play on hard surfaces, it's like pre-season when the grounds were hard. We had to be really careful with him,
Right.
because it does affect his knees.
It's a precious commodity as well. Someone that scored 200 league goals, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, John's a goal scorer, and you know he's got a lot of experience. So we do need our better players out there. Unfortunately, for whatever reason today, when you haven't got them, you know, you have to respond and do things in a way that you can turn games around and make sure you win games. But you know, we haven't done that today.
Did you consider trying to persuade him to play? I know earlier in the year.
No, I think it's you know, detrimental maybe the weeks going forward. So for one game, it's not worth the gamble with it.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you.